Start.
Okay, welcome to another episode of What's the Story of Our History. I'm the host, Chris Pereira. This here is Harold Egan.
What's up?
He's co-hosting with me tonight. We are talking about the history of Labuan, which graciously Shari Jeffri from the Borneo History Center has given us the facts and figures from his research. And we are going to talk about it and go through it because we were both childhood guys from Labuan.
Labuan boys.
I was born and raised there. Egan did kindergarten and primary school all the way till secondary school.
I jump in and out.
Yeah. So I wanted to ping pong off somebody who kind of knew what I knew about Labuan as well, growing up there and everything, right? So we wanted to see what facts we knew was and what we didn't know. Kind of. I'm also trying this different format for What's the Story of Our History to be a bit more casual, a bit more laid back, and see if it works. So let me know in the comment in the podcast what you guys think about it. Anyway, here we go. Labuan, Victoria Island, brief historical outline. The origin, by research from Shari Jeffri. The island's name came from Brunei Malay word Labuhan, which I think we both know
Yes.
is encourage. After the demise of the Majapahit Empire in the 14th century, Labuan came under the rule of the Brunei Sultanate for more than 400 years. Labuan's geographical position has played a crucial role in its history, making it a point of interest for various powers. Labuan was uninhabited. When the Portuguese discovered it in 1497. That I didn't know. Its harbour served as a safe anchorage for ships waiting to enter port of Brunei back when the region was a haven for pirates. Since the 18th century, Sultan of Brunei tried to secure support from the British to build a station in Labuan to suppress piracy. This one I knew. A trading hub, also, to develop trade with the mainland and a vision for a second Singapore. But it was unsuccessful due to a coal production failure.
So it was uninhibited.
Uninhibited. Basically means nobody was on the island. Really?
Because they were pirates, lah.
So pirates were the backbone of Labuan, huh?
Huh.
Do you think there are pirate ships around the area? Do you think there's gold on the island?
Can. I mean, if it's occupied by pirates, then most probably people don't want to go there, lah.
Kind of, klar. So it was like no man's land, I think. If we are taking it from just one source, we're imagining it as a no man's land. Because this is 1497 juga kan. But then being so close to Brunei and Sabah kan, you would think people would already cross over.
Yeah.
At that time, we were like, North Borneo was not, no, we already had pirates.
So why did Brunei Sultanate wanted the place for 400 years if no one stayed there? Did they see something? Maybe there was something. That's why the pirates put more peace on it.
It only came in under the Brunei Sultanate after the Majapahit Empire. So I think 14th century, so 1497.
I guess there was something lah.
I think it's
of
just because
value.
they're dalam perairan Brunei kan. So it's like,
It's a good place to stop.
And because if I'm not mistaken, Brunei ruled a lot of North Borneo before.
Yes, yes.
Brunei was massive. Until Manila pun was under Brunei dulu.
Betul.
So I think Labuan was like, okay, come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. The Bruneian War. Labuan was part of the Bruneian Empire from the 14th century. In 1846, Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin II ceded the island to the British. Back then, who would you give it to anyway? Kan?
Ambil lah.
Ya, begitulah. Okay lah, cukup lah, ambil
I
lah
have
kau.
so much.
No, he ceded the island, as in he gave it to the British. Itu kan ceded kah? Yang kau ambil lah. Nah.
Yalah, because banyak suara dia punya. I mean, he has a lot of...
We are so bad with this history. Let us know if it's correct or not. Whether it was given because he lost in the... No, Brunei Empire. Oh, he was not. It was given out of concession. Not concession. Macam, yalah kau ambil lah. I think it was to get support from the British Empire. I think
I
so.
guess. It's a
I think
strategy
so.
thing lah.
Yeah. Labuan, first British colony in northern Borneo. We were the first British colony in northern Borneo.
I guess because of the value of the place. Because it was given.
So Brunei wasn't lah. No, Brunei was still Brunei with the assistance of British. So they gave us to British. Faham? 1848, yeah. 1846. Sultan Omar Ali Safiuddin II ceded the island to Brunei. 1848, Labuan became a crown colony and free port. Labuan's strategic location in Southeast Asia made it a significant point for trade and military operations.
So now they have 1 foot in.
1 foot out. No lah, but
Yelah, I mean, they have Labuan, so dia masuk dari sana lah.
I think we really underplay Labuan's importance ni
Betul?
because of the location, and even now I think it's still being underplayed. The port especially.
Yes.
Is it really hard, you think, for like? Well, I think it was a direct access from you got Japan, you got China, Indonesia, Philippines. Like if you go to the Straits of Malacca and go to Klang, it would be a whole different.
True.
Kan?
It's a different route.
Yeah, it's a longer route.
And this Majapahit people, they knew about this a long time ago.
Yeah, ba. We should have been the port, man, the town port.
I mean, now it's politics.
Yeah. That's sad about Labuan. This I did not know. I did not know Raja Brooke was the first governor of Labuan. I didn't know Labuan had governors as well. So, Sir James Brooke was appointed as the governor of Labuan under Her Majesty's Council General in Borneo and commander-in-chief with a salary of £2,000. In 1800s, £2,000 kau kaya, bos. The end of Sir James Brooke's governorship, Brooke and the commercial adventures, Brooke resigned as governor of Labuan in September 1853. So that wasn't too long lah. Mungkin ada lama. No, not that long. Maybe 5 years? 3 to 5 years only. My understanding of James Brooke was he wasn't so much a politician but more of a businessman.
Yes.
So a lot of his decisions were business-minded, business sound. So I think he wanted...
He sounds like a Donald Trump.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So read out James Brooke. We talked about him in our previous episode. Next one.
The policy was to build up Labuan as a cold base for British ships, as a naval base against pirates, and as a free port for international traders.
I think until now, Labuan is partially a bit of that.
I mean, the government acknowledges coal. I mean, if you see the Taran, it has those apa itu, that statue
Yeah.
thing, and they recognize the potential of Labuan dari dulu, but I guess it's because of the environment factor. They just use it as how you say, romanticized fact about Labuan lah.
Yeah. But I do think Labuan as a free port makes sense though. Especially for international goods and stuff. I did not know it was a naval base against pirates lah. That was interesting.
If we read back the history of Malacca, that was also a free port.
Malacca was?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I guess kita punya importance kena downplay lah. Because see how much Malacca, I mean Semenanjung is having all the perks.
True. All politics ah.
I guess. It's all politics.
Labuan was good, I remember, because we used to have a lot of imported goods at regular rates. Like it was affordable rates for the locals there. Local goods macam whatever you see in like Tong Hing,
Oh yeah.
Merdeka supermarket type stuff. That was like our regular supermarkets in Labuan. Like Iguan, all these shops in Labuan.
If you non-locals
Yeah.
do not know, Tongying is like a supermarket that sells all these imported, expensive, rare, in KK stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, even electronic goods were super cheap. That's how we got cheap sneakers as well. If you're a sneakerhead, AJ11s when it came out in Labuan was only 350 ringgit.
Betul ba?
Yeah, bro. Now it's like 1,200 retail. This one, Japanese occupation.
Yeah. Let's go.
The Imperial Japanese Army occupied Labuan from 1942 to 1945. 3 years. The Japanese changed the island's name to Maida Island. the 9th Division of the Australian Imperial Force liberated the island in 1945. I'm going to jump this because we have more information down here about this. So 3rd January, baru. I mean January lah. 1942, the Japanese Imperial
Anniversary.
Army invaded the region and ruled a large part of Borneo until June 1945. Labuan was the HQ ka?
Somewhat.
Apa was the name? Pulau Maida after Maida Shima. General Toshinari Maida, the chief commander of Japanese forces in Borneo. So much to learn. So here's how the war ended in Labuan. I mean, not the war ended lah. There was a Japanese surrender in Labuan. A convoy of 100 Allied ships on the 10th of June 1945 landed in Labuan. An attack was launched by the Australian Army's 9th Division, codename Operation Oboe 6. Ooh, smart.
Wow.
Under General George Wooten, resulting in the surrender of the Japanese. Now, a lot of people don't know that the Japanese signed a document of surrender to the Australians in Labuan. And that table, there's a picture here, I'll post it up somewhere here. That table is actually now in the Sabah Museum, where you will see it as I think they call it the Japanese surrender table. The major ampai di Japanese Sabah Museum ni. I didn't even know that until I went to the museum like when I was working in KK. Tahun 2000 baru saya tahu tu meja exists in KK.
Like people are using this table as like
Tidak lah, it's a display. It's a
cafe table number 3. By the way,
the table's on proper display lah. It's betul-betul kena jaga lah. But I'm wondering why is it in KK and not in Labuan? Labuan has a museum I've not been to. Biarlah saya orang Labuan.
imagine if that table is used by
The governor of
someone,
Labuan.
yeah,
In Labuan itself.
like Donald Trump using the Resolute table.
Yeah. I think it would be a good table to sign MOUs.
Yeah.
To sign under MOUs lah, especially in Labuan. But that table would
we can-
serve more of a better purpose in Labuan, I think.
Or a replica of it.
The replica could be at the Sabah Museum.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it got to Sabah Museum. I guess lah, because we were under Sabah rule, we're going to jump to that straight away. 1963, we became part of Malaysia. Labuan is a state of its own. In 1984, some chief minister decided to give give Labuan to the federal government. It wasn't a consensus. It wasn't even like kamu orang mau ke tidak. It's like ambil lah kau. And we became federal territory lah. So I think that was where the table must have, between 63 and 84, the table must have came over to.
Is Labuan some kind of a gift thing? Because I don't know, like it seems like people are giving away Labuan to someone else.
I want to know why. Is it because of the location? Is it because of duty-free status? Because before it was...
Or the pirates.
Oh, the amount of pirates we have. Damn, bro.
Ambit lah.
Big oh.
By the way, we have 5 pirates.
Oh, I'm going to backtrack about the Japanese occupation. We were both students of Saint Anne, Labuan, primary school. So we were in primary 6. There were 2 war veterans that came to Labuan. And they were Japanese lah. And they obviously spoke Japanese lah. But they had a translator with them when they came to our classroom. Now our classroom had holes in the ceiling. Not the walls lah, the ceilings lah. So when they came in, they actually told us the holes in the ceilings were because they were hiding in the ceilings when the British was looking for the Japanese army lah. And the holes were actually gunshots from the British soldiers to see if there was anybody in the ceiling or not.
Bullet holes.
So it was like crazy to see that historical fact that we were in class in a historical room full of history. And I don't know if the class maintained the same, the bullet holes are there, or that they fix it up or whatever. Oh, by the way, St. Anne has grown so much.
I hope the last time I saw the building, I didn't notice the old block.
Anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's covered by the newer blocks.
I really hope it's still there.
We should check and see. I should be insert video of Labuan.
Labuan trip.
Labuan trip. Labuan trip. Ooh. So in 1761, Labuan first came to the attention of the British thanks to the exploits of William. You have to help me with his name, man.
Dalrymple.
William Dalrymple, working on behalf of the East India Company as they sought to intrude on the valuable spice trade from which the Dutch had to ably keep the British at bay for so long. Dalrymple agreed with Sultan of Brunei or Sultan of Sulu, whereby he was allowed to set up an East India Company factory in the Sultan's land.
Oh, interesting. Why Sultan of Sulu is mentioned here?
Because Sultan of Sulu was working with Brunei as not security lah, but Sultan of Sulu was tasked with monitoring and controlling the pirates from entering Brunei water. So they were like the naval army on contract for Brunei,
Why?
if I'm not mistaken. I forgot why we did a
This is
Sulu
like
episode.
Open a can of worms.
No, because the original Sulu deal was Mimang Sulu was supposed to protect the lands from pirates and attacking forces. When they failed, the British attacked Brunei and British or Spanish, I forgot already. I'm so bad with history. That's why it's like, what's the story of our history? The contract with Sultan of Sulu was supposed to be void because he didn't prevent it from happening. He didn't take part in the defense of that
Okay.
attack.
Right.
So dari dulu like 1800s already, he should have been killed and died off the contract. And the Sultan of Sulu in this context is more of a ketua kampung or head of an area, not a sultan in that sense. From what I understand from what we did our previous episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Huh. The British India Company temporarily occupied Labuan after the failure of setting up a station at Balambangan Island. I didn't know they were even in Labuan. Is there anything in Labuan that's left from the British India? Nothing. None of the buildings. I mean, we had British named buildings lah, but I didn't say anything about British East India lah.
I want to say that there are a lot of family names yang sounds British, and a lot of people yang have English names even though they are Bruneians, Kadayan,
Yeah.
and I mean, ya banyak ni yang ada nama orang putih padahal bukan. So I guess socially there was an impact on the people.
True, like Dora Stewart. Hi, Dora.
Okay.
Like I'm like West Malaysian Spanish, so like that's where the Pereira comes from.
There's even a guy, Kedayan, his name is British. Like literally his name is British. I'm not kidding you. He works in Sabagas Industries.
Oh, di Labuan.
My dad's friend.
Yeah, smart.
So like, what? Dia menang lucky draw or something. And then his name was mentioned. Like, okay.
Anyway, so 1848. Oh, shish. Labuan was made a crown colony and free port. Even in 1848, already a free port. The Labuan's first administrative system was established, and Sir James Brooke, the first White Raja of Sarawak, was appointed as the first governor and commander-in-chief of Labuan. What? Other notable appointments included Sir Hugh Low, who made the first documented ascent of Mount Kinabalu as colonial secretary, William Napier as lieutenant governor. I did not know the Raja of Sarawak, the White Raja of Sarawak, was also a chief of Labuan. Commander-in-chief of Labuan. He had the naval command, the military command of Labuan.
It's his job scope, I guess.
And also it's interesting to see, like 1848, they were already doing free ports, which means you were not taxed lah kan when you came into the island. 1848, bro.
So this Hugh Low guy is like what?
He's the one where you see that.
Tukang sukat gunung apa?
Wasn't he the first one that went up the mountain?
I know, that's Low's Peak lah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Low's Peak is not because it's low.
No. I mean, I didn't know he sukat the gunung.
I guess he has to.
Wait, what was in the museum that was it a glider in the museum before? Museum KK,
Yeah.
Sabah Museum. That had nothing to do with Hugh Low, right?
No.
That was something different, right?
That was something different.
Okay.
He didn't flew up there.
Flew down lah.
Wow.
I mean, how you gonna fly up?
You never know, man.
So yeah, I did not know James Brooke had so much power over Labuan. Interesting. In
He
1849.
was our Donald
Huh?
Trump.
Okay lah, fine. I'll agree with that. He was a very business-minded person who wanted power and not political influence. So he used his business influence to play politics,
Betul.
in my perspective.
Berjaya lah.
So this one is interesting for me. In 1849, the Eastern Archipelago, blah, blah, I can't even say that word.
Archipelago.
Okay, please.
The Eastern Archipelago Company undertook the first coal mining operations on the island. Immigrant Chinese laborers were imported from Hong Kong to work in the coal mines. The North Borneo Chartered Company eventually took over the mines, closed in 1911 due to flooding.
I did not know we
Is
had...
this the part where they dug into the sea and then they thought they reached the other side, then they went up and then water started coming in
Wah, itu saya tidak tahu.
and flooded the whole mine shaft?
Itu saya tidak tahu. I did not know that.
That might be the thing.
Oh, that's what happened here.
Dia ingat diorang sudah sampai Sabah.
Punya jauh. Now, these Chinese laborers imported from Hong Kong is interesting. I did not know they were imported from Hong Kong. I thought the Chinese from Labuan came from Sandakan. Because Sandakan was the first establishment for a lot of the Hakkas. I think Hakka or another dialect. I could be wrong. It might not be Hakka. But there was a big Chinese settlement in Sandakan. Sandakan was known as Little Hong Kong. Chinese New Year celebrations in Sandakan before was amazing. There were amazing pictures of how big it was. 1911. It felt quite recent lah. 1911 for the coal mine to close down. And like we spoke earlier lah. Does the coal mine still have coal?
Yeah.
And yes, there was a railway line. 1852. The first railway line on the island was built to transport coal from Tanjung Kubong, the coal mine, to Victoria, Bandar Labuan. Port along MacArthur Road, known today as Jalan Tun Mustafa. Jauh itu. What happened to the train tracks? I did not know the train tracks were that far. All I remember is you could see the train tracks going into the sea. I did not know it went all the way to town. Jauh itu, Wus.
It went in the sea.
I remember there were tracks going off the ship to the sea. So in my mind, it was like the tracks will go there, the boats are there, you unload onto the boats. So that's how I saw the train tracks lah. I didn't know it was like this. 1852, sia.
Oh, yes. Submarine communication cables.
In 1894.
1894.
There was
1894.
They were already submarine communication cables, which I assume is underwater cables lah.
Communication with North Borneo, Singapore, and Hong Kong.
Gila kau, direct line, boss.
That's so far. Communication cables meaning these are telegrams, telephones.
Did we have telephones in 1894?
Radio lah kan.
Did we have telephones in 1894? 1894?
I guess. Those things yang begitu tu.
1894
like you have to like crank those crank phones.
1894, okay. If you talk about telex pula, more
Telex is like TV. No. That's even ancient for kids nowadays. What's telex? Teletext.
I wonder if we still have those cable line connectors that was all the way to Singapore and Hong Kong. Gila kau, direct cable to Singapore and Hong Kong. That is so far.
And the weird thing is, it's not even to Semenanjung.
Yeah, we bypass. That time Semenanjung was still Malaya kan. This was 1894, so we still North Borneo. This was, I think, the British Mia influence lah.
Oh yeah.
Like Singapore was Singapore. Singapore was the whole of Malaya for all they cared about. Like that was your access point. You reach Singapore, you reach everywhere else.
True.
But Hong Kong though, Hong Kong is under British as well. So that's the connection with the cables. I see.
But gila lah.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap this up soon, so we're gonna go here.
Okay.
This one also I didn't know. 1963 to 1966, Labuan was the headquarters for the Commonwealth Defence Forces during Indonesia-Malaysia confrontation. I did not know Labuan was the HQ.
I I I kind of know this because my my grandpa was in the confrontation. They call it inilah perang confrontation. Yeah, perang confrontation.
So those that don't know, give them a little brief on what happened.
It evolves around communism and our fight against those how you say the followers of communism lah. Because orang-orang kita juga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Indonesians and all these the followers of this ideology. So a lot of not just the soldiers, military, it's also the border scouts, police hutan, all the regiments from the police hutan, all the regiments from the not PDRM. That time was police lah, like regular police. Everyone was out. Everyone was deployed to either Labuan or Sarawak. Sarawak yang famous lah. And I remembered my mom punya cerita because she was just born that time. She was born in 1960. A lot of the mothers were they were told to tinggal di rumah. They were alone without their fathers, and the dads, the police officers, they were living in police barracks. So all the male officers are in Sarawak. So I remember the parents punya cerita lah when this was happening. It was very, they had curfews lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom was in the barracks in Sin-on Tawau.
Yo.
Yeah. So most of the police officers around Sabah at the time were deployed into these areas in Sarawak and Labuan.
See, a lot of things I thought I knew, I didn't know.
But I just know that. I just know that bit.
This one is a very, very controversial, I would say, information or part of history. In 1984, Labuan was transferred from Sabah to Malaysia's federal government, which proclaimed the island a federal territory of Malaysia on 16th of April 1984. Now, this is always good and bad, I think. The good was very short-term good lah. The good was suddenly money was in. We had big buildings. Whether it's functional or not is a different story. But we had like the International Offshore Center. We had a bigger port system.
We had attention lah.
We had attention and money. Because before that, even though we were under Sabah, because Labuan is such a big place to jaga juga kan. I understand that money was tight. So I understand where, it's not susah lah kamu jaga. But I'm not saying Sabah didn't do good. It was just straining to reach out to Labuan. So when we were under federal in the beginning, it felt good. Roads were better, facilities were better, infrastructure was better. But then, after that, it was like, it feels like to me, federal got what they wanted from Labuan and then they just anaktirikan Labuan. Saya rasa lah begitu sekarang. And also I think where the problem lies is where head of departments or people that should take care of the island or are in position to take care of the islands are not Labuan people, but they're actually people outside of Labuan, mostly from federal lah. Which I think is funny lah. Sedangkan people in Labuan have the capabilities as well. It's just for some weird reason, paperwork wise, under federal territory, the top ranking whatever position semua dari luar. So I think that's not fair lah, because people who come in are not people who have passion for the island. They're people who are just there for the job. And it's Labuan. It's not a place you want to grow your career lah in a way. I mean, okay lah, if you're doing internal offshore accounting, if you're doing oil field, fair enough. But if you're doing anything else other than that, macam dia yang purgatory.
I guess that's the thing. The people who are sent there have no interest in the place.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people who have interest are not given any opportunity. That's why they cannot flourish. Imagine if you're from Labuan and you love Labuan and you're given the opportunity to develop Labuan, then it would mean that this place would turn out differently now.
Passion lah. Like there was a story, I don't know how, okay, this is more hearsay lah. So I don't know, I don't have the receipts to make it legit, we say. So this is just word passed down from other people to me and all that. Like somebody wanted to debunk that Labuan never had a coal plant in the first place.
Eh,
Yeah, they wanted to remove it from our history. They wanted to say it never existed, it shouldn't have existed.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's because the fellow was not a Labuan person also lah. And I think it's hard to do research because a lot of the data are not in Labuan. Because I think a lot of the data belongs to the British government. So we have to go back to them and try to dig the history books, and it's not free. Yeah. From what I learned from Shari Jeffri, from his history stuff, you can, but you have to go very detailed. What date, what year, what particular article, what particular contract, what particular treaty are you looking for? Then you can find all the information you need if you know exactly what you're looking for. So like, yeah, I think we lost a lot.
probably end of the day, it's our political will juga lah
Yeah.
to fight for it.
Yeah. I think we lost a lot in the sense of Labuan lost its soul lah, once it went federal. Like there was a confusion of, even now pun orang tanya saya Labuan, they think I'm federal, I don't have a Sabah IC, I'm like working on a work permit in KK. But no, even until now, if you're born in Labuan, you're still Sabahan. It's just it's administered by federal territory lah. So I don't know if it's gonna fix if Sabah takes over Labuan. Like how is that gonna help Sabah, or is that beneficial to Sabah? Even for administration wise, like now our funding is direct federal. So we go back to Sabah, how's the funding gonna? It's like it for me. It spreads Sabah's funding even more smaller because Sabah Labuan is another thing. Wait. Labuan was under Sabah jurisdiction. Were we ever an independent state kah?
I don't know.
Saya
That
tengok
happened a
macam
long
pernah
time
macam
ago.
tidak.
Before 84?
Yeah. Tidak kan? Memang Sabah or then federal territory kan?
I don't know the technicalities, but I remember when we were 6, 7, 8 years old, we still had free stuff from Yayasan Sabah.
Oh yeah, the pants, the shoes,
Yeah,
the
and
baju.
that was a big impact on my life.
Yeah. I mean for
still-
all of us.
And it was confusing when they say, "Oh, kamu bukan Sabah,"
Yeah.
but we still got those things from Sabah.
I think that was a leftover stock good because after a certain amount of years, the stopped coming already. Like I sempat the kasut, the books lah, especially the books and pen and the pencils. Yang selalu kena gigit ujung. Yeah. Sedap pemadam dia. Anyway, so in 2008, in January, Labuan was repositioned and renamed Labuan International Business and Financial Center as part of a rebranding exercise. Now, the reason why International Business and Financial Center was international offshore banking, which means it's like a tax relief island sort of way, macam not Cuba, one of those countries lah. Yeah, jahat, one of those countries. Like a tax haven lah, where international companies can set up offices in Labuan, have the money come in and out through Labuan, which bypasses the certain tax laws lah, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a revenue from this tax relief, and from what I heard or what I know politically or whatever is going on, macam itu duit pergi federal tapi tidak balik sama Labuan.
I guess.
Yeah. So like it goes to the big daddy but doesn't come back to the kids. So the people who are working hard for the money don't feel the money, and that's why the struggle to grow the island is so hard. Yeah, and the conspiracy theory is they don't want the island to grow so that it's always be under control.
Or maybe a federal government officer can say, "Oh, but these fundings go back to Labuan in forms of projects, in forms of."
Yeah, like we had a berapa kilometer punya jalan lah, 20 juta. Kok bingung ni? Like it's just a road. Literally a road yang ikut tepi laut jalan. 20 juta bus. Bingung ako. Came out newspapers like he successfully finished. I'm like, what?
Anyway,
Yeah. This one I think is your thing. 2010.
uh, yeah, when all these things are happening, it sounds like Labuan is booming. It sounds like everything is happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're in Labuan, because I don't go to Labuan as often as
Yes,
last
I
time.
do.
Yeah, but even if let's say I go to Labuan right now, it will feel like it's 20 years ago.
Yeah, still feels the same.
It still feels the same, and it's kind of sad lah. I guess there is some truth in what you say, like federal menganaktirikan Labuan, because everything that is far from the office, far from Putrajaya, will get some kind of a anaktiri kind of treatment. And in Labuan, I mean, it's closer to Sabah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. But what I see is what is the same is like what 100 years ago. It's a piracy haven. Now macam sama juga. Like yeah, like you see all these entertainment places, venues of fun things.
So I was active, not active lah. I was DJing a bit in Labuan, and I got to work at the nightclubs lah. So this was like late 90s, early 2000s.
Part of the piracy lah.
Yeah. I mean, to see it firsthand, how dark it is, and how human trafficking is a norm, how drugs in and out is the norm. Even though it's duty free, the amount of fake liquor that comes in, fake beer, it's crazy lah. It's like people know it's happening, but it's part of life. Like that's how the island makes the money.
Since 100 years ago.
Yeah, like these vices are the ones that make the meal money for Labuan. In a way lah, not in a way. It was a big factor of Labuan's sustainability lah.
It didn't change much.
Well, it's like cowboy town lah, macam that oil.
Huh?
Oil, what you call it? Oil town lah.
What, Miri?
I don't know if it's as bad as Miri or Miri is as bad as Labuan.
Miri was cool.
No, Labuan was intense because you see it. You see the sandals, you see the fights, you see the orang nan Sabahan yang baru datang Labuan get excited and forget life and get involved in all the stuff. So jatuh cinta and then
Labuan noobs.
yeah, kena bakar motor and all that stuff. So yeah, it was crazy to see it firsthand lah, how seedy and dark it was, yet how nonchalant everybody was about it.
It's how you say fascinating to see however the effort of organized government or organized individuals or bodies, it reverts back to its natural
State.
state on its own. Like it will come back. Like Labuan is cursed to be a haven for pirates.
One way or another lah, and
Yeah.
political, government.
Yeah.
I think Labuan has always been looked at as a tool, not a place. I mean,
But
looking at
Yeah.
not even from what they said here. What year was this? In 1848 lah, where the British colony decided to create Labuan as a significant point for trade and military operations.
Yes.
So it was already for outside coming in, not for inside going out. So like, Labuan is paradise for the youngsters.
Even now, military is still a thing in
Big
Labuan.
bone. It was lah dulu, like 90s to early 2000 when the oil industry changed. That big oil the big drop in oil. Then we had no foreigners. Even locals getting jobs were hard. A lot of companies shut down. A lot of mergers. Everything moved out of Labuan. then Labuan became a ghost town lah. In a way, it became safer. It became more people, but it was, yeah, the piracy and the illegal stuff made it quiet. The lack of piracy and illegal stuff. It's crazy, man, how all these bad things impact an island so much.
Mm.
The amount of people that were getting paid off. I don't know, man. There were so many stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take home message.
Take home message is, you want to close up with anything?
I don't know. That was the take home just now for
I
me.
think my take home is Labuan was never given a chance to be Labuan. It was always it had to be something of value to something, not where Labuan is a place on its own. It was like even with under British, it was because of military and trade. Under Sabah, I don't think they took resources because there's not much resources in Labuan lah. So maybe under Sabah it was just a place. Maybe under Sabah it was just a place. But we were struggling because yeah lah, Sabah funding from federal was already low. Then coming to try and figure out how to do an island again was harder. So that's where under federal it kind of bloomed artificially for a while. And then when the money started coming in, we never saw any of the money. Yeah. And the people in power were never Labuan people. And I think we have a voice that isn't heard. And we're trying to figure out our identity, I guess. What Labuan is. Like if you ask me what I would do for Labuan or how I could help Labuan, I don't know. Maybe creatively lah, from the music perspective. But how to grow the Labuan into something sustainable in the island itself, I really don't know. So that's another day of another episode of What's the Story of Our History. Let me know if you think this format works or you want a long form, more factual based history talk. This is my buddy Harold Egan from the
Hello.
Sip Sip Show. I'm Chris Pereira from What's the Story of Our History. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Shari to giving us the facts from the Borneo History Research Center. Thanks again to the Goethe Institute for supporting this podcast and being part of the Borneo Perantis.